This is one of the deadliest viruses known to man. Its presence ignored by many. Lack of knowledge, social conditioning, or just blind faith. But this virus does not discriminate. The human immunodeficiency virus is not in the strictest of sense a form of life, until it is inside a host body. It is a protein-coated mass of genetic instructions, 150 times smaller than the white blood cell it attacks. After penetrating, it multiplies until the cell bursts and dies. This continues for years. Cell by cell, the virus destroys its carrier's immune system. Untreated, the person becomes ill from a series of infections that become progressively serious and rare. And finally, fatal. Before we knew what it was already with us.
So it was among gay community. I said, okay, it's not a problem in India, so let's forget about it.
Before we knew how to halt it, it had already spread across the country.
There was this very huge international pressure that India was on denial.
वो बोले डॉक्टर तुम 2 साल तो जी पाएंगे, उसके बाद नहीं जी। हिंदुस्तान में 2nd नंबर होगी HIV की।
I was confident enough that my result will come negative, but my result came positive. And that was quite shocking for me because I was just 18-year-old and I thought like my life is just going to start right now. And there's whole life now because I'm the only son in my family and I have 2 sisters, so there was no one to take care of my parents. So these all things came up in my mind and I was thinking like if I'm HIV positive, it means like I'm going to die in 2 or 3 years.
Though the virus was detected in 81 among people in San Francisco, I started reading in 83, 84 and I said this is something new. And then saw it was among gay community. I said okay, it's not a problem in India, so let's forget about it. But then as articles came out, they said it can also spread through blood. And then I said, oh my God.
There was a denial of the problem, that's for sure. Not the individuals, but the denial because the numbers were very few. And if you compared them with other public health problems like TB or malaria or leprosy or something, HIV/AIDS didn't seem to be such a huge problem. And so we were in denial for a long time.
वो बोले डॉक्टर तुम 2 साल तो जी पाएंगे, उसके बाद नहीं जी। हिंदुस्तान में 2nd नंबर होगी HIV की, पहले सिल्वी, 2nd नूरी। क्या सिल्वी मर गई, नूरी तो जिंदी अभी तक है। 27 साल हो के 28 साल हो रहा।
सबसे पहले हमारे स्कूल में 225 बच्चे पढ़ रहे थे, फिर ये नए बच्चे आए 32 बच्चे, वो HIV है, इसलिए वो गांव वालों ने ऐसा सोचा कि ये बच्चे को भी चेप लगेगा, इस तरह वो उनको बच्चों को सबको निकाल के ले गए।
HIV सभी छोकरा एडमिट किया नहीं, बाद में हम लोगों ने छोकरा बनना बंद कर दिया। छोकरे लोग जाते नहीं है पढ़ने के लिए, अभी सब उठा के घूम रहे हैं लोग।
हमारी वजह यही है कि जो HIV पॉजिटिव बच्चे हैं इनके हिसाब से हमारा बच्चा निकाल लिया।
क्या डर था, क्यों नहीं?
वो डर ये कि था और बाकी कुछ नहीं। जो उसको HIV रहते के वो पेन है, पेंसिल है, बर्तन कुछ मार देते उसमें से वो खून निकलता तो चेप हो जाता है। वो रो के डर के मारे से हमने वहाँ से निकाल दिया।
We did think there was a things made very simplistic, thinking that if you promoted condom and you promoted better values and information that there's a disease like HIV, so don't have unprotected sex, that would do the trick. But it doesn't really, later on as we found.
या साथी, चाहे कुछ भी कहे, जो कॉन्डम का साथ न छोड़े वही है मुकद्दर का सिकंदर।
January of 86, we said we'll start collecting samples from female sex workers because that's all we had in Chennai. But where do we find it? Because we don't have regular red light areas where we can go and collect. So we depended on the police who raided brothels and hotels and brought the girls to the remand home, went there at 6 o'clock in the morning, picked up this blood, never asked the girls any questions, didn't get their consent. We were most unethical because at that point of time I had no idea of all these ethics, and 6 of them came positive. The Indian Council of Medical Research wouldn't believe our testing, nor the kids, so they sent the samples to Johns Hopkins University, to Tom Quinn's lab, and that's where it was confirmed with Western blot. At that time we didn't have Western blots, and all 6 came back positive.
World Bank at that time, for the first time, was looking at health and health as a portfolio. So they were willing, and the Ministry of Health in India, barring some population projects, had never taken any World Bank assistance. And do you remember 92, we were in a terrible global crisis when we wanted dollars. So there were multiple of these kind of reasons that got together, and we said, well, World Bank wants to give money for HIV/AIDS. WHO is also very interested in flagging this as an important issue of concern. We need dollars, so why not go in for a World Bank funding? So it was really the first loan that we got from a World Bank, of course very, very subsidized loan under IDA.
मैं बताई थी, 1-2 मेरे जिगरी दोस्त लोग को बताई थी। बताने से जिगरी दोस्त लोग को वो बोलेंगे थोड़ा अंगार लगने से चिंगारी जाएगी, नूरी को फैलाने की बीमारी, नूरी को फैलाने की बीमारी। बहुत लोग मेरे दोस्त लोग से दूर हो गए। ऐसा दूर होने से मैं कुछ डरी नहीं।
You know what was happening was, as we neared the end of 90s, the decade, there was this huge globally also HIV had caught on. It was out from just being a gay disease from US. It had taken on international ramifications, particularly South Africa and Sub-Saharan Africa and so on. So I do remember that way back in 93 itself, when I was the director, we had sent a team of doctors from Delhi, and they went to Lusaka, and they came back with alarming reports saying 80% of the hospital admissions were HIV/AIDS patients. So that kind of did worry us, I must say, but not enough to make us take it very seriously. It was towards the end of 90s that, this whole transmission, the theory of transmission of disease and that the need for, heterosexual route was the dominant route, and need to work with sex workers and other vulnerable groups in a more targeted fashion. That understanding came in 98. A lot of research that had been done and so on. And there was this very huge international pressure that India was on denial. And they extrapolated and said we must be having something like 25 million cases, while we were just declaring 3 million, 4 million and 5 million and so on, So there was this pressure of shaming India in a way, saying that you are not looking at the problem and this denial is not going to help you.
One caution he gave me, that I had talked to MGR, I would say, and you should better not tell them that you are doing this for them. You are examining them for AIDS. Segregating, quite a few persons we had segregated. And another thing we used to not only treat them for AIDS, we also gave a lot of vitamins, tonics, everything, so that the resistance also improved. So they never felt that they are targeted for AIDS. Immediately, segregation is one of the major things.
I was quite proud that we have found this infection in India, but not the rest of the crowd in the assembly. They said, why did you have to find this here? Because now they would say we are all bad people in Tamil Nadu, we are conservative, we are religious, and it shouldn't be here.
I went to one of the training sessions conducted by NACO at that time, and they had all these consultants and they did a condom demonstration, and I was horrified. I couldn't believe that a condom demonstration was being done in 2 minutes or 3 minutes, because that's a major part of prevention, and you have to take time over it. You have to engage people, you have to teach them properly. And I said, look, this is not the way to do it. And I was literally thrown out saying, you guys, you come from abroad and think you know better.
In fact, I remember a meeting that the Secretary Health convened, and Kerala refused to come. Kerala government said we don't see a problem in HIV/AIDS, it's nothing but US imperialism at work.
Sometimes I feel bad about this thing, like first people introduce myself with their friends like, hi, this is Gautam from Delhi and blah blah blah. But once I move from there, they just start whispering like, Gautam is HIV positive and he works for people who are living with HIV and something like that. And then I feel bad about it. Like, HIV is not my identity. My identity is Gautam Yadav, who is working as an activist. That is my identity.
You won't believe I can't get a pediatrician to take care of my 500 children here who are HIV positive. So my doctors who do the adult work are also taking care. Once in 2 months, a pediatrician travels from Mysore to Chennai to come and see my children. And 100 of them come on that Sunday. Dr. Moti sees them from Mysore. So when I managed to get, and you can believe for 20 years I taught at Madras Medical College. So 20 batches of students have gone through me, who are top doctors, some of them retired. You name them, they were my students.
अभी तक मेरे से कम 7-8 हज़ार जिंदगी तो जी रहे। अभी हिंदुस्तान में तो ART दवाई आके उसके लिए फाइट किया है नूरी भी एक इंसान ने। क्या अभी तो 3वीं क्लास पढ़ी तो कम से कम 24 कंट्री जाके आ गई। कॉन्फ्रेंस बहुत लोग जगह में जाके बात की हूँ। किसके लिए? मेरे लिए नहीं, मेरे बंदे लेख के लिए, मेरे जनता के लिए जवाब दी हूँ, मेरे जनता के लिए सवाल करी हूँ। किस लिए? इससे एक इंसान पैदा होना तभी तो मालूम होगा, है ना? बीमारी रहने छुप छुप के मरने से क्या फ़ायदा होता है? किसका फ़ायदा है?
आई एम सॉरी आपको वेट करना पड़ा। क्या कह रही थी आप? अरे ये बच्चा, अरे कोई पकड़ो इसे। कहाँ जा रहा है? रुको, कहाँ भागे जा रहे हो?
सॉरी डॉक्टर अंकल आपको इतना भगाने के लिए, पर मेरी मम्मी के पेट में बहुत दर्द हो रहा है और ये लोग आपके पास आने ही नहीं देते।
डॉक्टर ये वो HIV केस है।
हाँ तो?
आप लोग यही पहन के सब लोग को ठीक करते हो ना, तो मेरी मम्मी को भी ठीक कर दो ना प्लीज।
डिलीवरी की तैयारी करो जल्दी।
यूनिवर्सल प्रिकॉशंस पे भरोसा करके हर रोज हजारों डॉक्टर्स इलाज करते हैं लाखों मरीजों का, उनका भी जिन्हें HIV है।
जब साथ है सुरक्षा
तो डरना कैसा?
See, when these 6 girls we found were positive, same question, everybody, so it's 30 years people are asking the same question. So they asked, find out from the girls. So we spoke to the girls and we asked them, you had so many sexual partners. Did you have sex with anyone white? A white man who didn't speak Tamil, only spoke some other language? No. Did you have sex with any black men with curly hair? No. Did you have sex with people with those head bands and you know those trying to get some other country people in? No. So you had sex only with Indians? Yes. Only with Indians who spoke Tamil? No. They spoke other languages. Then how do you know they are from India? No, they spoke Hindi. They spoke Telugu. So they could make out they were Indian languages, but no one from outside. So if these 6 girls have never been out of the country and they have not had sex with any of these people, not only me, there were hundreds of people asking them the same questions to find out did they have sex with a foreigner, but we couldn't get. But only funny thing in this whole thing was at that time the ICMR Director General said if you have sex with foreigners you will get HIV. Unfortunately Rajiv Gandhi's wife was Sonia at that time and you can imagine all the...
Obviously HIV is no longer the flavor of the month. You have a very non-existent NACO at this point. You have what I see clearly as NACO being downsized in spite of the health secretary feeling that nothing is going to change just because there no longer there's no longer a secretary for NACO.
सुनिधि बोली थी ना वो टाइम पे जुलाई 22 के दिन तो मेरे को डर लगा, उसके बाद मारो गोली आ गई.
Even today I face. Yesterday I was out in a camp and there were doctors there who said, oh, you still working with HIV, you didn't get it. I said, why should I get it? Oh, you're in the lab, you're handling blood all the time. I said, so what? I'm wearing gloves and I'm doing all the precautions. If I were you, I wouldn't be wasting my life with this. You know, it's still even today, Sunday, yesterday in a camp, two of the doctors there were asking me, why are you doing this? And they are such juniors.
कितने लोग मारने वाले दिखे. अभी हमारे होम में एक विजय कुमारी करके काम कर रही है, उसका पति मरने के वो भी 2 बच्चे रख के सुसाइड करने गए, उसको बचा के रखे. वो लड़का अभी इतना हाथी के बच्चे के नमत. इतने लोग को पालती हूँ.
HIV is a friend for me because I always treat him as a friend because my parents will leave me one day, my friends will leave me one day, but this HIV virus is going to stay with me till the time I die.